Greetings again everybody, and welcome back to Dark Souls 2 Crown of the Old Iron King. Today we're just gonna go through the Iron Passage, which is the first of two co-op areas this DLC has to offer. And yeah, it is like all the co-op areas, not very good. But the basic idea behind this one actually is a good one. Anyway, before we get to that, let's summon Wayne again. He helped me with the co-op area of the Crown of Sunken King as well. And I brought him back on board for this one. In fact, they were recorded on the very same day. But that's just little behind the scenes stuff. This area, opposed to the last one we went through, actually took us quite a few tries. It's not even that this area is very hard, it just, how shall I say, it's a little tedious. It can wear one down relatively quickly. And the approach we're taking here is to, well, pull that switch. And you can see Wayne is already at the end of it, but you will want to see what's at the end of it too. So the idea behind this part is mostly that you will place your co-op buddies right in front of that gate, pull the lever and let them go through while you go the other way. But you can of course also get through there alone. It's just pretty hard and not really reliable. Like, you may or may not actually die if you try to do that. So this path down there is the one we would usually take. If we... In fact, it's a path that we did take on the actual run of this area, which we did in co-op. But I do of course want to show you this path as well. There are probably people who routinely take that path who can reliably make it through the gauntlet between the lever and the gate, but I can't really. I'm honestly surprised I made it on my second try. Not that I had a couple tries during our co-op session. And you know what? Same thing again with a longer path. Oh well. If you had two co-op buddies, this I reckon would be the part of the area where one of them would, well, just wait in front of the gate and the other one would pull the lever and then proceed the other way. But, well, right now at least as it stands we don't really have a co-op buddy to do that for us. So we're gonna have to go through there alone and possibly die. Because, as plainly visible, this path is a little longer than the last one. And it functions much the same, but with more enemies. And yeah, if you pull the lever and cancel out of the animation, it won't actually open the gates. So you need to be, well, patient. You might think that every second or even split second counts here, and it does. But you still need to wait until you actually triggered the gate opening. But now there's no more gate shenanigans. We're good to go now. If you can reliably make it through the gates, this path is much easier. But if not, well, you'll have to go the long way, which is very tedious, but we're actually gonna see that, of course. Now here we have one of those guys. This room is really dumb if you approach it from the other direction. Mostly because you have to deal with two enemies that can shoot into you and with one of those big guys down there. So yes, you might see it now. The basic idea behind this area isn't a bad one at all. You just split up and do one part of the area each. And in the end you meet up in front of the boss door and do that. This is a good premise for co-op area actually. Less so co-op rather than, well, splitting up. But splitting up makes it easier, of course, to get through the other rooms on the main path, because you'll have less enemies to deal with, because you can take them out more easily. But, well, this isn't normally something that happens, because if you play this co-op online with random people, they just tend to all want to go through the gates, and if you don't follow them through the gate, they just use their black crystal of separation and leave your world again. Which kind of defeats the entire point of this area. And this is where I would have come through after the first gate. But now, this is the end of the area. Let's switch back to our main run and do some co-op. You can see here I had Wayne go through there while I go this way. And now here you you have to deal with a lot of enemies actually. And you can and should pull them out one by one. Whether you do this in co-op or not, this is always the better idea. And see, there you can see the co-op gimmick working. Wayne's up there taking out the enemy that would otherwise shoot me from a range. While I just, you know, take care of the regulars. But again, very few people actually do this, and the area is still fairly tedious even with that at work. This took us plenty of tries. But the first one where we split up actually did work out very well. This is that run. We attempted to split up before, but I wanted to follow him through the gate, because that's actually a much easier path. But this turned out to be very manageable too. Thing is just that, again, there's a lot of sniping and luring people out involved. And this is something that's, well, it's actually fun in moderation. But if it's all you do for an entire area, not really. It's especially bad in this area because there's enemies that actually shoot you from a range while you try to do other stuff. And I can't even hit that guy from here. Well, I can hit him, but I can't do damage to him. I neglected to explain, by the way, but those guys up there call the cast the Promised Walk of Peace, which slows us down considerably when we are affected by the cast. But it's not too bad actually. It's still enough to manage those guys. It's just a really bad thing to be afflicted by if you have to deal with other enemies as well. And there he cast it on Wayne, I believe. But yes, this is so much more manageable if you actually do split up. It's just a shame that it rarely ever happens in actual co-op play. Which is why it took so long to actually occur to me that this would probably be a wise course of action. Because no one ever does it. But I can't really be the only genius who's ever thought of that. I'm fairly sure it was designed that way too. Otherwise, well, things wouldn't be in place. But let's not worry about random puppies ruining our online games. As much as this area frustrated us, we still had fun going through it. It took us plenty of tries though. And we did make it right here several times, but we always found one way or another to fail. This area is of course much more frustrating if you go through it alone, unless of course you go through the passages with the levers. which still might kill you, because it's kind of hard to get through them, as you can imagine. But in co-op, those kind of things get much more bearable. It's just that, look at this. This guy has way too much health for what he's doing. But now we should have an easy time with that guy there. After all, we fought those guys several times already. And even though he has a different weapon than the regular club guys, he has the exact same moveset, I believe, and might do a little more damage. But this isn't really something that I worry about. Mostly because he's already dead, but anyway. So, let us go and fight the completely amazing boss, which I'm sure is at least a little more unique than the gang squad we fought in the last co-op area. Oh, never mind. It's another smelter demon. Only this time he's blue and does magic damage instead of, well, fire damage. Well, at least in his second and third phase, the fight works exactly the same. But there is a notable difference to his moveset. Well, he has the same moveset, but the timing is just a little bit different, and it can, and actually will, throw you off on your first couple attempts. Because you will just dodge and then get hit. It will also happen a couple times to me in this fight. But other than that, if you know how to fight Smelter Demon, you should be able to adjust to the new timing. What he is supposed to do is mostly to screw with your muscle memory and make you dodge into his attacks rather than away from them. See this one? This swing has a much greater delay, and I have trouble dodging delayed attacks anyway. So this of course hits me every single time. I believe this downward swing is also the attack that I have the most trouble with the regular Smelter Demon. But my timing would probably be correct this time around, were this actually the regular Smelter Demon. For trading in his soul, you actually do get a quote-unquote unique weapon. It is another smelter sword, and it is blue, but it does magic damage instead of fire. Other than that, it looks exactly the same and has the same moveset. But look at this, he's almost dead already. And since this was our however manyth attempt, finally getting through this area and being successful was quite a relief. Now let us actually check out our, hopefully, completely sweet reward. I mean, last time we basically got a skirt that is a one-part set, or rather it doesn't have a set attached to it, so it goes with nothing. This time around we get the Pharaoh's Mask, which a lot of people, myself included, believe is a nod to the Mask of the Father from the first game, but the Mask of the Father looked so much better. I mean, this doesn't look doofy enough, even though it does look fairly doofy. But I don't really see people running around with it too much. It also doesn't have a special effect like the masks had in the first game. But anyway, this circles us right back around to the beginning of the area, actually. So, next time we will be tackling the other co-op area solo, so see you then.